One of the things that I get on my YouTube comments recently is casuals are unhappy because of the content they're getting. They think that they're not getting enough, where if you actually look at the content, they actually get more than like raiders, for example. Now, that's just fact. You know what I mean? You can fucking go back and check. You know, you don't have to believe me. But my point here is that they're not complaining that they're not getting content. They're complaining that they don't like the content. And I think that actually that is a valid complaint. I feel like when people say that casuals don't get content, I think that that's wrong. And I think that they're trying to say that we don't like the content that we're getting. Here is my question, okay? Because a lot of people are complaining about the amount of casual content that's in the game, but I feel like that complaint should be the quality of it, what it is, not the quantity. So what do casual players want to do? Because honestly, I don't know. Because no one has ever told me what they wanted. Like in the comments, and this is why I don't take any of the casual player base serious, because they just complain, but they don't offer a suggestion. So what is it that you want to do with your time? Because, you know, I have things that I like to do. So like, you know, you farm cosmetics and shit, but what do you farm? Like, what do you actually do? I feel like a lot of people are complaining, but they don't have any solutions. Casual with time or skill. In this particular instance, I'm talking about both. Yeah, so the content they offer for casuals is so boring. Yeah, that I can agree with because I wouldn't want to do that shit. But my question to the casual player base is this. In all of the comments that I've ever gotten, or any time we've talked about this, no one has ever suggested actual casual content to do, at least from what I can remember. Because whenever I were to suggest something, people would be like, oh, well, it's too hard, or oh, it's not for casuals, when, in my opinion, it wouldn't be too hard. 14 needs open world content, just like Guild Wars 2. Okay, so then in that case, all right, now see, they do have open world content. They have hunts, they have fates, they have that type of shit. Now, I think that stuff is fucking boring. And I would feel like a lot of you agree. Okay, so yeah, fates are garbage. Okay, shit like that. Shouldn't casual players be more focused on social interaction? I don't think so. I mean, I think that part of being a casual player is social interaction, just because I think that part of playing an MMO is social interaction. I think that even if you're like, okay, even if you're casual, you should still have shit to do. I'm glad you mentioned that. The reward from Fates is ass. Do you guys think that one of the problems is the rewards? Because I do. And I don't think there were, like, basically Final Fantasy XIV in all single aspects, okay? So, like, for those of you that are more casual, you probably think your rewards are dog shit, okay? Well, I'm going to tell you that from a mid-core perspective and a hardcore perspective, the rewards are also dog shit. So it's not just you guys. So like, okay, that's another good point. 14 has open world content, but there's zero incentive to do it. Yes. There's the problem with 14, one of the biggest problems with 14 is the fucking rewards, man. It is the fucking rewards. They do have some stuff where they have like that super fate. You do the super fate and then you can get a glamour, right? But fates are also like fucking boring. One thing that I always wished Final Fantasy would do was copy Rift's system. Did any of you play Rift? Rift was a very fun game. Rifts were basically fates, but way better. There were rifts to level, there were rifts for reputation, and more importantly, there were raid rifts. Basically, there'd be a tear like in the, you know, in the air, be like, you know, a tear into like, you know, a different reality. And you would use what they called a lure. You would get an item from a rep vendor. So you would build up your rep, you do rep quest, you'd buy the lure, you'd go out to the fate. The fate just wouldn't spawn. You'd have to go there and you'd have to use the lure. Now, when you use the lure, a special fate would spawn. And that fate would have specific rewards, and it would also, you know, it would also be like, you know, combat focused. Look, man, part of this game is combat. Now, I'm not saying that these rifts have to be super hard, but what I'm saying is that if you give people a reason to farm the rep for the lure, then you use the lure to get some really cool items. What could these items be? They could be really good glamours. They could be animations. There could be a lot of different stuff. Yeah, so that's another thing too, is like there would be like rift invasions, where like sometimes like the light realm or the shadow realm or the earth, the fire, the water, the wind, basically these different elements would invade a zone. And when they invade a zone, it was like a zone-wide event. You had to take down all the rifts at different time, at like you had to take all the rifts down, and then you had a super rift spawn. They need to take that system. And another thing too is like so you guys, so a couple of you mentioned Guild Wars 2. So I used to play Guild Wars 2 a lot, and I found that the world events, at least I'm pretty sure they're still going on to this day actually. So look at this, man. This is a world event tracker. You have all these bosses, man. These are like the world bosses. The Shatterer. This guy's pretty cool. He's like a dark like a dark entity and shit like that, man. The Jungle Worm. Where's the Claw of Jormog, dude? This guy was fun. He was a dude. Man, I got to tell you, some of the entrances to these bosses are awesome. Shadow Behemoth is cool. What's the dragon that comes out of the water? Tekia or Tequatl or something? Yeah, so basically there's this like beach, right? And he comes out of the water, dude. It just looks so fucking cool, especially for your first time, man. Very cool stuff. So Final Fantasy could add some world events like this. The thing is like, well, what do you give rewards for this? Well, you could give like currency. You could give currency to buy some of the stuff that I said earlier, like, area specific, reputation specific emotes, obviously mounts, like, mounts are fine, but you have to add more, you have to give more. And I feel like that you have to give stuff that's like more impactful. You know what I mean? Like mounts can be cool, but there's also like not everybody's a mount collector, right? Like some people care more about glamour, some people care more about animations. You know what I mean? So I just feel like that expanding upon the reward system is very, very important to this game. And all of that stuff that I should like that whole like world boss and shit, casuals can do that 100%. All of the stuff that we talked about in Rift, casuals could do that. I feel like that if you added just that into the game, it would give like a nice flow, especially if some of the bosses only appeared like maybe twice a week. These are some of the things that I would suggest for like the casual player base. They could add the rifts. So like basically think of a Fate, but actually fun. I know that's hard to... I know that's probably hard to imagine, but rifts were very fun to do. The world bosses and the world events in Guild Wars 2, because in this game, Final Fantasy is an instance-based game. You do virtually nothing in the open world. And I feel like if they want to make their game more alive, they need to add more shit to the open world. It doesn't have to be anything too crazy. Honestly, they could just literally copy Guild Wars 2 and copy Rift. They don't even need to like come up with their own ideas. No one is going to complain. What kind of dumbass is going to be like, yeah, I love this system in Guild Wars 2. Too bad 14 copied it and possibly made it better. Who is going to complain about that? You know how stupid and brain damaged you have to be to complain about a good thing? Now, there's going to be people, right? There's obviously going to be people. There's always that one guy because for some reason people don't like good things, whatever. But you look at another game, you say, hey, we don't have that in our game. Let's just straight copy it. We'll make some changes to it. You copy your friend's homework, but you get a couple answers wrong so that it doesn't look like you copied it. Just do that, man. No one cares. Okay? And everybody's going to support you on this. And I mean, like, yeah, let's be real, right? All MMOs copy from each other one way or the other. You know what I mean? Like, there's something in every MMO that copies off of another MMO. That's the genre of the game. WoW copied Guild Wars 2 flying, and some people were having a meltdown. See, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, because Guild Wars 2 flying seems really good. I've heard a lot of good things about WoW's flying. Why would you complain about a good thing? Like, WoW is known for stealing and making it better. That's good. I actually wish 14 would do that, because then it makes the game I'm playing better. Let me ask you guys a question. You do these Allied Society quests, right? You build up reputation. What can you buy with the reputation? Like, can you buy anything good besides a mount? Mounts, adventurer plate frames. Okay. I wish that there was something else in the shop that you could buy that would make people want to do it. So like, let me give you an example. Maybe a really cool piece of glamour that didn't look like dog shit. Maybe an emote. I'm just now thinking about it, right? And one of 14's reward issues is the variety. So like, if you look at every piece of Final Fantasy content, right? It's materia mount. Like, materia mount housing item. Like, why can't you add, like, I don't know, a job change animation? Why can't you add a glamour? Why can't you add an animation? Final Fantasy is very limited on the rewards when they need to expand. There's a lot of extra stuff from the modding community that they could take. I mean, also cash shop ideas, but they could also put them in the game. I've suggested many, many things that they could actually, you know what, man? Here, I want to ask you guys a serious fucking question. Who the fuck would buy this if it was in a cash shop? Or who would grind out reps for like this stance? Or better yet, like, hold on, let's watch it run. Look at this running animation, bro. Like, are you how it amazes me. It absolutely fucking baffles me that Square Enix does not allow you to change the way your character fucking runs. Like, why? I should be able to like, I mean, look how badass that looks, dude. And you know what? This isn't anything too crazy either. It's just a fucking guy running with a sword, right? But the thing is like the Final Fantasy Dark Knight running animation is so fucking trash that anything would look better. Like, what if they put animations as rewards? Wouldn't that be fucking cool? You know? Like, it would be something to grind for. Or, follow me on this. What if they gave us materia? Hold on. But it was special materia that had crit and direct hit on it. It had 2 stats. Or, let's go even further. What if there was materia that augmented your abilities? Let's say, for example, you're playing warrior. Let's say materia that gave 10% damage to Felcleave. It's pretty good. Everyone would use it. Well, my point here is that if they put it behind this content, it would just be like daily rep grinds, right? It would give you a reason to log in. It would give you a reason to play the game.